Around the Bead podcast, tire talk for trucking, mining, agriculture, and more. Your home for fleet solutions, aiming to inform, pioneer, and entertain the tire world in connected industries. Sponsored by East Bay Tire, keeping essential industries moving forward.
Mics are hot and Around the Bead is back. I am your host, Joe. I am joined by our co-host, Big John, and today we have a special guest, Nathan Laswell, GM of Mechanical at East Bay Tire, to talk to us about how mechanical components affect tire wear. Gentlemen, are you ready to kick the tires?
Start kicking.
Yep.
So, Nathan, and we'll pop this up on the screen for the audience. The Casing Conditions Guide is a book that talks about tire wear. And I swear when I read it, 80% of it is caused by this mechanical condition, this mechanical condition. Is that my imagination, or are we seeing mechanical components affect wear a lot more frequently than we know?
That's what you're seeing, just like the book says there. A lot of components in the suspension will cause irregular tire wear.
Nathan, let's take a little step back and talk about your history in mechanical. When did you start wrenching? How did you get to where you are today?
January of 91 is when I started.
How old were you?
19 years old.
And where'd you start?
Shuttler Tire in Fresno.
In Fresno.
Yeah. They had a truck center there. And I always been intrigued with the trucking.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be in that field one way or another, whether it was driving or working on them. And I was a grocery store clerk at the time with union benefits.
Yep.
And I took a $4 an hour pay cut
To go wrench.
Were
you doing tires and mechanical, or just, hey, we're going to go work on equipment, mechanical?
I was a tire mechanical helper, so yes, I started busting tires also.
So like an apprentice.
Yes.
That's a nice way to start. I mean, you're not just thrown into it, but you're also not going through all the education.
Yes.
Tell us about that as a kid learning how to wrench at Shuttler Tire from, was it a master tech or just somebody who knew what they were doing?
Yes and no. The guy that was training me, he didn't really want to show me his knowledge because he was afraid I was going to take his job. And within about 3 years, I did that anyway.
Which is the opposite of how I feel like you view it now. You want to share the knowledge.
Yes, I've always said that. Anybody that came in and I was training them under me,
yeah.
I wanted to show them everything that I knew. And I wanted to help them because I knew in the long run that would help me be successful also. And the company that I'm working for.
Yep.
My dad always taught me to take care of the company that you're working for. Because if they don't make a profit, they're not going to be able to pay you. So I always treated it like it was my own business, the best that I could.
Well, I think every customer that you've ever met can see that. I mean, your reputation in the field, for the audience out there who isn't familiar, Nathan's built a reputation for being the best alignment technician for Class 8 trucks, and now subsequently runs an entire mechanical division, all built on customers who come back and back for that reliability. You remember when your first alignment was?
Oh.
And how'd you do it?
Well, the tech that was training me, he did show me basic things, how to do it, and I started in automotive because he was taking care of the trucks. Mm-hmm. At that time, we had a contract with Michael Chevrolet in Fresno, and we were doing 2 to 4 lowering jobs a week for them with Beltec suspension.
Okay.
And so he put me on that. He showed me one, and then I just took off with it. doing drop spindles, C-notch in the frame, and then I would align them up after that and test drive them, make sure they were good, deliver them to the customer, and at the same time I was watching him do the big rigs.
Yep.
So the guy from Beeline would come in and show him a few things, and then he caught wind of me, and he was the Beeline sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
He sold alignment racks and bending equipment. Back in those days, we used to bend the axles on the trucks to set the camber.
Yeah.
So he kind of took me under his wing on Saturday when the lead mechanic wasn't there and started showing me, because I think he saw potential,
Right.
you know, and the mechanics just came naturally to me. My dad was chief engineer at Foster Farms Dairy.
Yeah.
He taught me a lot of stuff at home. He used to build trailers and that kind of stuff. So when I started wrenching, it just came natural. And Andy at Beeline, he taught me all that stuff. He taught me to check the spring bushings and other suspension components that the other lead mechanic at that time was not doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that first alignment goes way back in the, oh man, I look back at that alignment equipment. You could literally set the alignment with a tape measure and get it just as close back then because it wasn't that accurate.
So help me out with that. What's the evolution of alignments from that first one in your history to where it's at today?
Well, it was pretty primitive. It was always hard to mount the sensors to the wheel. Yeah. And if you didn't do it just right, they would fall off during the alignment, and then you had to start all over.
Okay. But you were using sensors at this time. This is 1991.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And you could print it out before and after, even in 91.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, just like we do today.
Yep. But it was not that accurate. And you had to always ask yourself, is what I'm seeing on the screen a true number?
Yeah.
Because one time I was aligning a big rig, and it showed on the screen that it was towed in 1.5 inches. So I just started cranking on the tie rod until I got it to 0.06 on the toe.
Yeah.
And okay, it looks good, printed it out. The guy hopped in the truck, and when he got down to LA, his tires were history. Brand new Michelins that Shuttler Tire just put on.
Just completely wore out from Fresno to there, 300 miles, 400 miles?
Yes.
Eggs.
So I'm like telling the boss, well, I got the printout here, you know. So we had to pay a tire shop in L.A. to put 2 new tires on it and realign it down there.
Yeah.
And then they sent back, hey, this guy had this thing towed out like 2 inches, you know. So that taught me, don't ever trust the screen on the computer. Verify with a tape measure.
You still do that today?
Yes.
Really?
If I'm doing it myself, I do it today. If I see a big a reading that is way out of spec.
Sure.
If I'm only moving the toe 1/16 of an inch or anything, I can pretty much trust the computer.
Yeah.
You know. But the readings that you're finding on the screen are only as accurate as the mechanic that mounted the equipment to the wheels.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so if he makes a mistake there, you're going to get false readings.
So if we're using a lot of the same processes today, sensors, printouts, what's the difference in tech from 1991 to now?
The way you mount the sensors to the wheels, far more easier, faster, more accurate. If you're off on the way you mount it,
yeah,
it will alert you.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. It will tell you you don't have it square enough for us to give you accurate readings. You need to take a look at the right rear sensor.
Okay. And I do want to get into suspension, but I really want to cover alignment as a whole Tell me about basically a steer axle alignment versus a 3-axle alignment.
Well, on a semi, and you're only aligning this front end, you can make the truck go decently straight, set the toe, and it's close. But what most people don't understand is if both rear drive axles are out, it causes you to scrub the steer, and you will still get irregular wear on the steer.
Oh, that's interesting. That's got to create some conflict. I mean, if I go in and I thought I was aligning my steers, but then I come back with irregular wear, I'm pissed.
Yes.
But it really comes back to the drive axle being misaligned and scrubbing the steer, not the drives.
Correct.
Interesting.
Could a rear, on the rear 2 axles, if they're out of alignment, will it throw the specs off on the first, the steers or the reading? I know back in the days, in the 90s when I used to do, auto stuff, we used to have to do the steer, go to the front tires, do the rears, and go back to the front to recalculate it, because as we adjusted the rears, it would give us a different reading for the front.
Yes, that could still take place. You kind of got to adjust them all together. Like if you have a reading real far out on the rear, you're going to want to get that close before you start doing the front. And then if you move the caster on the front, sometimes that throws your thrust angle back out on your drive, so you might have to make a minor adjustment back there.
Why would anyone want to just get steers aligned?
They think that they had another shop just align their drive axles, 50,000 miles ago, and they're wearing perfect. So I don't want to spend the money to do the whole job again.
Will you do just steers if someone asks?
I will, but I reluctantly do it. I try to convince them that they need to do all 3.
Or put a caveat in there that, hey, this isn't an end-all, fix-all.
Yep. I put a note on the work order. There's absolutely no warranty on drivability.
Yeah. The on that note, there are some shops up there that do set the toe and go, and it's a really quick alignment. What is actually set the toe and go?
Well, the toe is the most important part of the whole alignment.
Which is what?
If the vehicle is towed in, the front tires are pointed toward one another in the front.
Like this?
That's toe in, yes.
Toe in, okay.
If it's towed out, they're...
Yeah.
And a lot of guys try to make the truck go straight by towing it in extra.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it makes it plow going down the road, but you're causing high scrub, you're causing worse fuel economy, and your tires are paying the price.
So the set the toe and go is a steer axle alignment where you tow it slightly in to guarantee that it's not towed out at all?
Correct.
Okay.
You want it towed in slightly because they naturally want to pull apart going down the road.
I see. How much do you want to tow it in? Like
Well,
a half a degree?
Not even close to a half a degree. And some tire manufacturers have their own specs within the manufacturer specs.
Tire manufacturers have specs.
Yes.
Really?
Michelin wants your toe toward the minimum manufacturer spec.
Okay.
So let's say the truck spec is a 64th of an inch towed in,
Yeah.
but they will allow you to go down to 0. Michelin wants it at 0.
Interesting. What about the equipment man? A Freightliner, a Kenworth, a Volvo, do they have preferred specs?
Yes, it's about a 16th of an inch towed in.
Okay.
Down to about 1/32nd of an inch towed in. But they also let you go as high as about an 1/8 inch towed in.
So they have
it's a
some
range.
Yes.
tolerance level.
And that brings me to the fact that when they build brand new trucks, they have a wide range on their spec. They're just getting the alignment close. I wouldn't even say it was close. They're just getting them done as fast as they possibly can because they're kicking out so many trucks an hour.
Yeah. But that seems like a lot. I mean, you've got the tire specs, you've got the equipment specs, you have certainly a range of personal opinion out there. I mean, it sounds like there's a huge variance between what a factory will produce on alignment compared to a half a dozen mechanical shops that are doing alignments. I bet the variance is huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
How many of the truck dealerships are actually getting these new trucks realigned before they let them out the door to new customers?
well, we have dealerships in Fresno that will not sell a truck without it coming to East Bay Tire to get a line first, because they don't want to hear from the customer, my steering wheel's crooked, my truck's pulling to the right, my tires are wearing out prematurely. They just simply want to be able to say, East Bay Tire, align the truck, call Nathan, call his team, and see what he has to say about it. And it takes all that liability off of them once it's aligned.
Yeah. Customer satisfaction with a new truck coming out the gate.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the drive axle. So we got a concept of the steer axle. What components are important on a drive axle, and what kind of wear patterns can you see if you don't have an alignment?
You can see high scrub on the tire inner wear. A lot of suspension components could be out, not letting the truck not hold the alignment, loose U-bolts, broken springs, bad spring bushings in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
Another huge tolerance is the axle offset. A lot of alignment techs don't even know or have been trained to check the axle offset.
Explain that to
Yeah,
us.
what you can have to help us out.
Are the axles centered underneath the truck?
Yeah. Okay.
And you should be within 1/8 of an inch there. And we see them come from the factory. I'm talking brand new trucks,
Yeah.
3/4 of an inch off.
So what adjustments are you making on that? If the axle is off center, what adjustments are you making to center it?
There is a transverse rod that goes from the top of the rear end housing over to the frame rail. And that rod, the only purpose of that rod is to hold that axle center.
Okay.
As you're making turns and maneuvers, that torque rod takes all that punishment. So on the side of it, there's a spot you can add to subtract shims, depending on which way the axle goes. So you need to set that first before you start setting the thrust angle and the scrub angles.
So is that the first thing you do in a drive axle alignment?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that requires a tape measure.
Yeah.
So you set that first with the tape measure before you even start the alignment process.
A literal tape measure?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No laser tape measures. Yeah.
And that's part of some of my training that I pass on to these younger generations. You won't believe the amount of guys I've hired that can't read a tape measure these days.
Well, we'll talk about the younger generation. Let's be a little gentle,
Okay.
and we'll get there. You know, we're all sensitive bunch. But finishing on the alignment piece, I mean, if you do a proper alignment, what kind of tire gains can you see? If you had to ballpark it,
Well,
or how about a range?
yeah, on a brand new truck that's just kicked out of the factory, I'd say you're going to see a 10 to 20%
Better wear
better wear
out the gate.
out the gate
Okay.
and better fuel economy.
So on a $5,000 to $7,000 set of tires, depending on labor and taxes, et cetera, you're anywhere from $500 to $2,000 plus. Yeah, that's substantial.
Yes.
What other components are you looking at in the undercarriage and the suspension that contribute to tire wear besides an alignment?
Loose wheel bearings, the spring bushings, broken hangers.
Mm-hmm.
You have U-bolts, make sure they're torqued properly. You'll see on a lot of newer suspensions when the U-bolts are loose, the springs actually walk in toward the center of the axle, and the airbags will be leaning.
Yeah.
So that's a dead giveaway. Or if that track's off that we talked about before, you'll see. On the front end, you're talking tie rod ends, kingpins, spring bushings, again, shackle hanger bushings.
Are there standards for replacement on those? So you
Yes.
see thousands of trucks a day. I mean, is there a standard of, hey, this is this much off, or it's been in use this many years or this many miles that it's recommended that it be replaced?
Well, that is an interesting question because it's all on how what are they using the truck for? Are we talking about a log truck? Or are we talking about an over-the-road truck?
Why would it matter?
Because in logging, you're on dirt 80% of the time.
Okay.
Hitting holes, going over gravel. Sometimes the skidder is pulling you sideways to line you back up. And all that stuff's very hard on the suspension components, kingpins, spring bushings, versus highway. You know, you're running down I-80 for 400 miles and it's all clear sailing and usually smooth roads.
How do you tell if a kingpin needs to be replaced?
You jack the front axle up and you actually push in at the top of the tire and pull out at the bottom of the tire with your hands.
Okay.
And if you feel a significant amount of play there, you should put a dial indicator on it. And anything over 13 thousandths, between 8 and 13 thousandths, we're telling them, hey, you should get your kingpins done pretty soon.
Who sets that standard? 8 to 13.
The manufacturer.
The manufacturer. Okay, so there are certain specs out
Yes.
there, whether it's a log truck or an over-the-road truck,
Correct.
that if it's within this range, it should be recommended replaced.
Yes.
You see thousands of trucks a year. How many times do you go through an alignment and you do the pre-alignment inspection and you find things that need to get replaced, fixed, adjusted outside of the standard alignment components?
50%.
50% of the time.
Significant. Besides kingpins, because we all know about kingpins, what's the one component that usually goes missed that a tech or a mechanic might not really pay attention that's critical?
The front spring shackle pins and bushings, which is part of the spring. And that really severely throws your caster to a negative angle. As those wear, they walk up, the springs walk up toward the frame, which tilts your axle forward. So then you get wandering all over the road. You get popping. Every time you turn left or right, you'll hear a big pop or a thud. You know. And, you know, a lot of people overlook those because you have to pay attention. You have to stick a pry bar in there and pry up and down on them, see how much play is in them, you know. And there's tolerance. There's times like, you know, we see the bushings start to crack like rubber ones. And we tell the customer, hey, you probably got another 100,000 miles. Next set of steers, you'll probably have to do these bushings, but we can let it slide right now. You know, we're not out there to get anybody. We actually will take the customer down in the pit and show them.
Show them what's underneath. Yeah.
Yes. Because, you know, if a tech misses that stuff and he gets, the truck gets pulled into the scale house for an inspection and they tell him, hey, your shackle bushings are shot, the first phone call is to the alignment tech. Hey, I just had this down there yesterday. Now I'm out of service.
Yeah.
They're wanting me to get this towed.
So what's your training process? You bring somebody new in to train them to do alignments. What's the process to get them to that point where they can recognize that stuff, and how long does it take?
It takes about a good 4 weeks of hands-on, side-by-side training down in the alignment pit with them, showing them these hands-on,
Yeah.
all the suspension
That's a
components.
completely green person?
Yes.
That's not bad. 2 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, will they know every suspension out there? No. Not even close. That takes years.
Yeah.
Because when you purchase a Kenworth, you can have that built however you want. You can have Hendrickson walk-in beam suspension.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Hendrickson Primax. You could have the 8-airbag Kenworth, which all have different suspension components. And you got to know how to adjust them. You got to know how to inspect the bushings and so on.
Yeah.
And it takes years to learn all these different suspension because they don't just come in every day. You know, you got your most common over-the-road truck that runs long haul. They pretty much run the same suspension, so I can have them going on that pretty quick.
How much has the suspensions underneath these semis changed over the last 15 years? What's the biggest change you've seen?
They make them better. Things last longer now than they used to.
I didn't expect you to say that.
Kind of
No,
like
me
the
neither.
tires.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tires out there now that last longer than they used to.
Yeah.
They're easier to work on. They make the adjustability easier.
That's actually shocking for me to hear that. I would have fully expected you to say it's more complicated. There's more proprietary items. It goes mostly to the dealership. Doesn't last as long. They get all the import stuff that's garbage. That's a surprise to me.
Yeah. It used to be back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, if you had a Hendrickson walk-in beam suspension, it was non-adjustable. So if your thrust angles and scrub angles were off, too bad, you're getting bad tire wear, you know.
Better
But
start replacing parts, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So and that's the roughest ride truck there was, you know. There's the spring stack, and that's about 20 leaves.
Yeah.
And now on the end of the beams, they still have that for maximum payload.
Okay.
It's the Hall Max now, but they made it where you can add and subtract a certain amount of shims. The best thing about that suspension is once you set it, it tends to hold it, meaning the driver can run over. You know, most of those trucks are like dump trucks and heavy haul trucks. You could run over a lot of stuff, and it holds the alignment pretty good,
Yeah.
solid. Yeah. Now, when it comes to ABS systems and stability control and all that, that's way more complicated. We used to never see that back in the old days.
Yeah. Changes.
Yeah.
What have you seen changed in the workforce and the technician piece? And I'd like to hear more about alignment training, simply from the standpoint. There's a lot of trade schools out there. There's a lot of groups, profit and nonprofit, trying to get more mechanics into the field. But alignments is somewhat of a specialty. I mean, there's not alignment trade schools out there. There's not a lot of dedicated alignment shops. So that really does fall on the dealer, falls on you and your team. What have you seen change in terms of training, and what have you seen change in terms of the workforce coming in to wrench?
Well, finally, in the past few years, we have some schools finally making the shift for this type of training.
It's alignment training.
Yes, there's a high school in Fresno. Without mentioning any names, they brought back the vocational schools.
Yeah.
They're doing anywhere from engines to alignment. They put in a full-blown alignment track, so they're actually training high school students on truck alignments, and that you can make a career out of this job.
It's a national trend. There's been a huge shortage. Everybody's making a push.
Yeah, and I used to crack up because I wasn't the best student. I couldn't stand school except for wood shop
Yeah.
and welding. If it wasn't for those classes, I wouldn't have graduated. I'm just being blunt.
Yeah.
And, I used to crack up because when I got into this business, Fresno Unified would not bring any spring work anywhere I went. If it didn't matter if it was Shuttler Tire or Bet Springs, wherever I went, they took it to me
Yeah.
to work on their buses. And I used to crack up. Here it is. I couldn't stand school. And they're begging me to work on their buses because they can't find anybody to do it anymore.
Yep. We're all trying to find our place.
Yeah, so they're finally bringing that school back, and also Fresno City College has also put in a full-blown alignment center. Oh, wow. So now you could go to Fresno College and start learning this, and
So you're seeing more investment in training out there for the youth.
yes.
Seeing more potential technicians come into the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they might have some good background before we get them, and then we can fine-tune them,
Yeah.
because it's the same thing. You buy the Hunter alignment machine, and they'll tell you, get it all in the green,
Yeah.
but that tolerance is still wide.
Still big.
Tire manufacturers have a more narrow tolerance on the alignment than what is allowed.
Well, it's their product. They don't. They want as tight as tolerance as somebody else will make it. Right.
Yes.
Same thing with air pressure.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you can do a good job and make the truck drive straight, you'll have customers for life. That, hands down.
So on that note, we do a segment on the show called "What's Your Big Dog Energy? What's Your BDE?" You've accomplished an immense amount in your career, from starting out at Shetler Tire and just learning. What was the moment where you went, "This is what I really want to do. This is a career that I want to pursue"?
When you had customers come back and say, "I've never had anybody align my truck like that." It goes straight down the road,
Yeah.
and they're so happy. Now, there was a coin flip to that, because I've been chewed out by a lot of customers also when you did something wrong.
Yeah.
Like the guy that come back with his tires wore off after,
Yeah.
400 miles. So,
Getting that reward of someone saying that you solved my problem.
yes.
You made things better for my operation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I specialized in that field, suspension, brakes, and alignments. I didn't get into the engines. I didn't feel a need for that. I just naturally liked the suspension work because other techs hated it.
Yeah.
It's too big, it's heavy, those drums, and they would cry about it. And I'm like, I'll take all that work all day long because it was easy. It just came easy,
Yeah.
and
It was natural for
if you like doing what you're doing, you're happy,
Yeah.
And the truckers, they were easy to get along with compared to your retail customers, driving a Mercedes and, oh, my brakes are squeaking and this and that,
Yeah, I've heard you talk about your truck too. You're not so easy to deal with, buddy.
That's for sure. I tell you, Nathan, I can feel the passion just flowing off of you, man. I really appreciate that, and it's probably been part of what's made you so good at what you do. Yeah. So
I appreciate you saying so.
Yeah, I love seeing it.
Nathan, I got to ask you, so there's a pretty easy for the audience out there, pretty easy reason or evidence that I haven't wrenched a whole lot in my life. Tell me how you lost those 4 digits. You got that unique handshake.
Woodworking at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a mechanical.
All in one slice or separate occasions?
All in one slice.
Okay.
I was ripping a piece of wood on a radial arm saw. So on a radial arm, the blade hangs down vertical.
Yeah.
And I reached around the right side to pull the piece of maple on through, and maple's very hard. So I had a tight grip on it.
Uh-huh.
And the board kicked back, and it pulled my hand right through the saw with it.
Ooh.
And this was when I was 18.
Oh, 18.
Wow.
Before your first job
Yes.
at Shetler. Okay.
Yes. So I was a checker at Lucky's grocery store at the time,
Yeah.
and had to take some time off for the. Oh, before I get to that though, it happened so fast I didn't even know it happened.
Yeah.
I went to the board because it flew out and hit the shop wall. I went to pick it up. My hand was bleeding. Then I looked at it. And Then I freaked out. I ran around in a circle a little bit and ran in the house, told Mom to call 911.
Woo!
Yeah.
I will confirm Nathan still has one of the best handshakes, minus the four fingers,
Oh, it's good.
than most people I know.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, I was a checker at Lucky's, and they felt kind of bad for me because I was working swing shift at the time and still going to high school.
Yeah.
So I had work experience in the afternoon, and I'd work 2 to 11 every night, and they thought maybe I was working too much. And I'm like, "Are you guys crazy?" I was back to work, and I still had stitches in my fingers, and I was back to work.
Yeah.
So back then in those days, they didn't make you take 6 months off and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most mechanics I know, they have a go-to tool or a tool that they've made to make something in their job easier.
Oh, I like
what's
this
yours?
question.
So, and I've had several people say you should patent this and develop it, and
Oh,
and I'm like,
got something here, huh?
I don't have time for all that, But I kind of designed and developed these kingpin bushing drivers, where you put the spindle in the vise.
Yeah.
And I went to a machine shop and had them make drivers to remove the old bushing, and then an installer to install a new one with your air hammer.
Okay.
So it's like a solid piece of steel that's round that fits the bushing perfect, and it helps you install it into
Don't
the
give too
spindle
much
board.
information now.
Yeah.
There's probably someone on the other end that has the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow, that's great. I've never seen that tool.
yeah.
Yeah.
They work amazingly well, and they where a lot of guys use the use the press, and the press is slow.
Yeah.
And also, you can bend the spindle using the press because the spindle is open where it fits over the axle, so you don't want to close it together. There, so yeah.
Mileage wise, coming back to tires real quick, from 19 to now, what's the mileage difference you've been able to see in tire performance under a properly aligned truck?
Like miles difference.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, steer tires back in the 90s, you'd get 70,000.
On a line haul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've seen 200 out of some of your top tier brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Yes. And that has a lot to do with the driver also. Good driver.
Yeah.
One that's not running 85 mile an hour down through Phoenix, in the heat, and the particular truck I was talking about was governed at like 65.
Yeah.
But you never seen mileages over 100 before.
Yeah. Lots changed on that end.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest impact a fleet owner or owner operator can make on their truck when it comes to mechanical suspension?
Maintenance.
Specifically, what in maintenance?
Well, the newer trucks line haul will go 50,000 miles between oil changes.
Yeah.
The steering components can't take not being greased for that long, especially in wet weather.
Oh, interesting. So you think they're waiting till 50,000 miles to make any maintenance?
Yes.
So when do they need to come in? This is all trucks. This is a Freightliner. This is Kenworth.
All trucks.
All trucks. Yeah.
Yeah. If they stuck to the 10,000 mile interval,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have the kingpin spring bushing problem.
Yeah.
Tie rod ends.
So they come in for 50,000 and they've got a bunch of issues already out the gate.
Yeah. Especially if they're threaded metal on metal spring pins and bushings. By that time, the rust is already set in, and they start galling and seize up, and then your spring breaks, you know, but they say, oh, you don't have to service them but every 50,000 miles. Well, you know, truthfully, I love it. You know, it's like
ready
selling.
to do work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Weldon Trucking in Fresno. His trucks used to get greased once a week, whether they left the yard or not.
Once a week.
Heavy haul. That was a heavy haul company also. And I never even had to change a tie rod in on his trucks.
But is that common today? I mean, I feel like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, a lot of fleet owners had their own mechanics, maintained a lot more of their fleets than they do today. Now they outsource it for a variety of different reasons, whether they have to from a cost standpoint, or it's the equipment dealer proprietary dynamic that they have to send it to the dealership to get serviced. You think that's true, or you see it about the same?
Yeah, I believe that's true. And when the problem with that is it's not their truck. Yeah. They take it into the dealer, and a guy in there, he's the lube tech. He's a brand new mechanic. He's not even a mechanic yet. He's a lube tech.
Yeah.
And if he misses a grease cert or two, he don't really care. It's not his equipment.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's true
problem
for you too, though,
Yeah.
right? It's not your equipment.
Yeah, it is, but I have the passion to take care of the customer.
Yeah.
It's a little different story. I want the customer to come back
Right.
because that's my livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, and I always treated it like that. It's my career. I want to do a good job. I want the customer to come back. I started with customers that own one truck. Now they own 100 power units.
Yeah.
You know, and you want that business.
Oh, yeah.
And that's hard to pass on to everybody. What I would say that you said earlier that I think is valuable is that you have customers come and walk with your technicians in the pit to go look at it. And that's where a technician is going to have ownership over it, right? This is what I see, and this is what needs to get changed, as opposed to no touch, no intimacy with the customer. Hey, we fixed this, we didn't fix this.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to pass on.
Yeah. What would you tell your former self at 19 to put yourself in a better position today?
At 19 years old, I was pretty cocky.
Would you say much has changed?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I know you pretty well.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
We just call it confidence as we get older.
Yeah, it changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's confidence now.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean, what would you tell yourself? What would you tell youth today, starting in the field, to give them a leg up?
Be more patient. And my younger self, I would have had to tell him, you know, don't be so arrogant. Watch your mouth, you know, especially when you're trying to train other people, you know, because they weren't necessarily raised like you were, you know. I know it goes around a lot, but my dad had me holding the flashlight for him, and if you didn't hold it right, you got chewed out and slapped around, you know. And when you know, not everybody can take that.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to learn how to teach other people how to do things. I probably would have spent more time studying some books on suspension components, you know, and instead of having to learn things the hard way.
Yep.
And sometimes that hard way costs you skin, you know, like the fingers.
Yep. Well, I think there's a lot more levels to the career path now. It's a lot more clear when you start out at 19 on where you can go. And that's what makes the industry so exciting for me, not just on the tire end, but the mechanical end. It's endless. I mean, you could be you could start as alignment tech and become a lube tech for a heavy equipment company and be one of their most valuable resources. The mechanical field really is endless. And so if you're 19 years old, I agree, be patient, but also take a look at what paths you want to go on, because you can make a huge career in this industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very lucrative also. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're an aircraft mechanic, and I wish schools would just, you know, it's like when my daughter was entered high school, they talked about all these colleges she could go to, but not once did they mention a trade school.
Yeah.
And I brought it, you know, it was parent-teacher night. I raised my hand. I said, have we looked at any trade schools? No, but if you do the research, we'll help you.
Yeah. It's getting better.
Yeah.
Your opinion is shared by many.
Yeah.
So, Nathan, we're reaching our end of our timeline. It was fantastic having you on. We'll bring you back for more perspective. For all those that are watching, our subscribers, put your questions in the comments field, and Nathan will answer them if you've got tire mechanical questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
That was
Nathan.
great.
Around the Bead podcast, tire talk for trucking, mining, agriculture, and more. Your home for fleet solutions, aiming to inform, pioneer, and entertain the tire world and connected industries. Sponsored by East Bay Tire, keeping essential industries moving forward.